Welcome to the R7 podcast, sponsored by M is Good. R7 is an innovative, God-inspiring process that explores personal and professional purpose. R7 analyzes 7 strategies to transform your vision and find direction in your organizational marketing. R7 establishes clarity and guidance for the gift we call life.
Well, I see you singing.
Oh yeah, I can't help it.
Welcome to the R7 podcast. We're back. DB and Dr. Super Dave are back with a special podcast. Today, we're going to talk about low EI, low emotional intelligence. We're going to roll some soccer clips.
Don't hate on the soccer clips. Enjoy the soccer clips, everybody. It's the sport of the world.
Soccer and tennis, I think, are like the biggest sports in the world, are they not?
Uh, Obviously, soccer, also is football. Would be
But
number
not like
one.
American football. You're talking like
World football, man. Really, where it is. FUTBOL. The part that
yeah.
makes sense, not pass ball. Anyway, and I love me some good NFL in college, but yeah, it's probably soccer, and then maybe tennis. I would put cricket in there too. I hate to say that. There's a huge cricket following around the world, other than the United States.
Yeah. And you know what's great about low emotional intelligence is that it's everywhere. It's in the workplace, it's in sports, it's in every sport, big or small, how we react. It's so much fun to watch in sports, is it not? I can't wait to see your reactions as we roll these clips.
Okay, so but okay, let's ground this in Dr. Davisms here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
put it out there. Just tell our friends who've never done this with us in the past, what is sports, Dr. Dave? It's a what?
It's a petri dish of emotions, is what it is.
There it is. Bam. Sports is a petri dish of emotions.
Yeah. And for those that have not watched our podcast before, we go down this R7 Destiny Vision Strategy Brand Communication Pray Think Action. We've had guests on every category, and we've talked about emotional intelligence. And just briefly, high EI is when you're in control of your emotions. It's more of understanding the second thought and the second reaction. When you're high EI, you're in control. The vision's in front of you, right? Your emotions are behind you. When you're
Yep.
low EI, low emotional intelligence, we allow our emotions to run our life. They're in front of us. We have, visions behind us. And so why I think you and I love sports so much, Dave, is that, it's fun to watch people go low EI. It's fun to watch
Oh yeah.
people get upset over, at the end of the day, over nothing. I mean, I get sometimes it's like their livelihood and they're, super into it, but a lot of times with sports, it's just not that. You're getting all tangled up in your emotions, especially golfers. We're going to do a special session on golf.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But wouldn't you say that the sport that displays the lowest form of low EI is the one that allows fighting? Because that would be the biggest expression of getting somebody to just completely lose their mind and then go fight someone else,
oh man, it's such a great question
like
because,
hockey.
like, well, hockey's good example of that, but what about boxing? Like, you can't be low EI through a whole boxing match. You have to be
No.
strategic and you have to take a punch and you have to give a punch and you know one's coming and you're going to get, you're going to have some scrambled eggs. You got to get back to it. So
Yeah,
I've
but
thought about this. I've thought about this before. I would say, when you're in control of your emotions, like I can be in a fight and still be in control.
so if you're whacking me from behind with your hockey stick
Yeah.
for a couple periods, we get to the third period, I'm about done with your nonsense. And you hit me one more time, right? And you're high EI because you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm low EI by this point. I'm tired, I'm sore, and maybe my team's losing by a goal or whatever. And I spin around, drop my gloves, and throw down. To me, that's a very clear signal at that low EI point, regardless of what
Yeah.
happens in the actual hockey fight. You're still getting your
Yeah.
5 minutes,
Yeah. But well, the positioning is that, in hockey we chirp people.
right?
And I've had conversations with hockey players say, listen, if you can't chirp and stay on top of it and not be low AI, don't do it. Don't get sucked in. Some of you are chirping that don't have the mental ping ponging capacity, the skill set to do it. So don't do it. Don't get involved. Let some of your teammates do it.
Yeah, there's a kid that played on one of my teams, and he plays Division 1 soccer now, for a school in North Carolina, and he was probably one of the best I ever saw. And he played left back. For those of you that are soccer players, so he plays on defense basically. And that kid chirped kids non-stop and was in their head in the first 15 minutes of every game
Mhm.
through the rest of the time. And I'd tell that kid and his dad after the game, I'm like, man, I would have never wanted to play against you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he just non-stop
Yeah.
talking the whole time. And there's a reason he's playing Division 1, because he knows, and he still does, like, he knows how to control it. He knows what to do. It's as much psychology as it is physiology,
Mhm.
right? It just is what it is. And those
Yeah.
players, if you can find them at that level, are priceless, man, right? It's the same thing Rodman used to do to everybody in the NBA. He knew how to
Yeah.
get them mad.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's roll some clips here.
All right, everybody, buckle up. And if you're watching this while you're driving, please pay attention to where you're going first in this second.
Welcome to the
Oh, sorry.
And there you go. The kid slips down. He runs out. The other kid dumps him on the ground. And then the one kid comes over to push him. Then the other kid puts him in a headlock. And it's on now. Yep. So the kid in the burgundy gets the card, and the kid who put him in the headlock gets the card. Well played, everybody. Yeah, see, that's a classic, just bad defending.
Now, what I love
Uh,
about this is that you can set
Oh,
them up for
see.
this. What happens? Yeah. Like, what
Yep,
did I do? We know what you did.
exactly.
The yellow card. That's what you did.
Exactly. It's so many of what happens from a soccer standpoint when you see a lot of these, it is bad EI, because low EI, because they don't like someone coming in aggressive at them, or they don't move their feet, or they're defending poorly. They get, dispossessed, the ball taken away from them. Like, this is a classic one right here. Here we come. He's gonna pick his pocket. Bye. Never mind. And the kid gets mad and he kicks him from behind. You're just lazy and you got embarrassed.
This is
Why do you
mentally, we're talking about MTT, mental toughness. This is not being mentally tough. This is, to me, it's all about your pregame, understanding you're going to have contact, that this is going to happen, right? That you can be the aggressor or you
Yep.
cannot be the aggressor, but it's
Yep.
out there.
Yeah, I like this little set piece of them coming in a group and then busting back out. But unfortunately, the ball gets headed out immediately because they didn't get their spot fast enough. But then this kid, the ball's out, they blew the whistle, and he's just going to dribble for his own, just for fun.
Yeah.
What a
And he's like,
waste of space
what?
this is. So the thing is, as this play keeps going and the referees finally come over, it's like when people do this, if you're the team they're playing against, you already know who the mental case is. You're like, haha, let's all start chirping this kid now.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a weak spot and definitely something that pre-scouting you can do.
Yep.
If you can be on top of the chirp
Yep.
and basically get at them early, it would be a strategy
Yep.
for sure.
Same thing there. Kid still steals the ball, goes the other way. Kid who got beat drags him down. That's that card. Back in the game. Get a free kick from the outside. Goalkeeper comes
Oh,
up.
nice.
Oh.
What
So
did I
okay,
do?
so here's the deal. Goalkeeper can do that as long as he gets a piece of the ball. All he needs is a finger on the ball, and the goalkeeper's good, but he's not. He takes the kid out instead. Oh, here we go. Dave, this is a classic. I'm going to argue with the official. All right.
I've often said, like, if you're arguing with official, then you're low EI,
Love
especially coach, not
it.
coaching
Kid
your
steals the
team.
ball. He tackles him from behind, physically drags him down. He's telling him right now, listen, kid, you're never going to play in college if you can't freaking move your feet and stop taking it personal. You need to get better.
This all, if you're watching out there, this all can be preloaded. You can train this. Oh my gosh, just annihilated him.
That's actually illegal if he doesn't extend his arm. And he's actually asking about that. If he wouldn't have extended his arm, he could have cleared him into the ground like that. But better coaching, better discipline. Here we come. Other direction. We're still back in this game between this burgundy team and this white team. Oh my gosh. You know what's also fun
I
about
love when
this?
I love when the parents get into it too. It's my favorite.
I was gonna say this shows the low EI parents, which I love.
Well,
And
one
if
of my
it,
favorite things to do when I was coaching hockey was to put my low EI parents on video,
oh yeah,
for them to run the camera, so then we can hear them chirping. Then we review the video, right? We hear them going off and being
oh my
crazy, and
gosh,
they got quiet real quick.
I love it. All right, here we go again. I'm gonna predict he's gonna get dispossessed again. Yep, he stole the ball from him. He's gonna take him down.
Oh,
There it is, dude. And what are you arguing about? You didn't get the ball, dude. All right, flip it out to the side. He's got to beat him to. He's got to beat him to the touchline. Oh, and he had him too. Regular foul because you can't move your feet.
we're discussing here.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, he's talking to the coach. Coach doesn't like what happened,
Oh
and
yeah,
the coach gets
perfect.
carded. The coach said, "Look, that lime green on you looks really bad, man. You need to wear a different color." Oh, and there again. Oh, he's laying on the ground. He sticks his foot
Can
up.
you
What?
kick
That
somebody
wasn't
when
me,
you're laying
man. He
down?
tripped on the turf.
You can kick somebody when you're laying down. What did I do
Oh,
wrong?
there it is again. Bad defending. Bad defending, man. Oh my gosh. This is what makes coaches lose their voice and their hair. Boom, he's gone. You can see it coming. Kid's not going to close him down, use the sideline as a defender. He's just going to freaking take his feet out from under him. Takes ball and he's got his arm around him. Exactly. He wants to take him to the dance. The referee said, no dance for you.
Why are they giving out yellows and not reds?
Oh, because the fouls are not egregious enough, or they haven't had a card yet. The yellow's equal or red, but you got to come in. There was a card that was given in the Premier League over the weekend, and if I were to show you that, you would understand the difference. It was just brutal.
Mm.
Yep, there you go. Drags him down. Now, if you're on a breakaway, just like in hockey, and that happens, then yeah, you're gonna get a red for taking somebody down on a 1v1. All right, here we go. Yep, again. You watch these teams, and you're like, what do you practice? They call the foul versus out of bounds there. So, and that's probably a good point as we're watching these. How do you handle some of this stuff in practice? And this is where you've got to really work out with your folks, with your kids on making sure that they're very resilient and focused, and they're not making a bunch of bad fouls. He's going to take him out, right? Oh, I thought he was going to take him out right there, right here. Boom. Oh, I don't know that I agree with that call. That actually looked more legal to me.
Right in the face
with his shoulder. He didn't. I don't know. That was a little ticky tacky. If your arm is in and you lead with your shoulder, it's fine. But
how about the embellishment here?
Oh, he tore a nail for a minute. Oh, nice through ball. Oh, that's a bad foul. That is definitely a card. Oh, this is just painful. All right. To the side. You can let him play. Yep. Oh.
Now the card comes when the possession changes, right?
Yeah, if he would have lost that ball, he would have called that foul. But because he kept on the ball, he's going to let him play on. You want the flow of the game to continue. So many of these fouls are just bad fouls. Now, good fouls could be if they're, if they are going to go do something and you can stop them because maybe you saw your defense is in a good spot. There's that. And there you go. He's carding the
what did I do?
coach.
I didn't do anything. I'm just standing here.
He goes, I want you to be over there by your team in the parameters of your team, not down here. He probably irritated the official earlier in the game. I don't even know what that was for. This is where officials. Oh, that's a bad kick. This is where officials can get really frustrating because if you've been working them all game, I'm telling you what, that second half can be absolutely brutal. Number one, coach your kids really well. Help them to become disciplined. Number two, just because another player beats you doesn't mean you have any license to go and freaking take them out from behind and cost your team something else. Because, what happens when you do that and then they actually score on you? I've seen it happen a million times. We see it happen in other sports. Somebody makes a dumb decision, takes a penalty, and ends up costing you a game. Now, again, there are good times to foul, just like we see at the end of basketball games. You see a lot of foulings, get people on the free throw line and try to get the possession back, try to make up. I understand the gamesmanship of it for sure, but some of the fouls we just watched are just like, just because you got beat and you're on your butt on the ground doesn't mean you reach your leg out and trip the kid. Like, there ain't no college coach that goes, I want that kid. Way.
Yeah, I think for me, it's about preparation. The slogan for mental toughness training is plan to win. And
Yep.
so when you're getting prepped for a game, and I realize that a lot of players don't have, someone like me that's there and working with them, that, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual planning before the game, weeks before the game. Coaches can make an environment that's very competitive with music, with whistles in practice, make it more aggressive so that,
Yep.
you're when you're out there in the environment and this stuff happens, that you've been trained to react. Lately I've been using especially with golf, and that you don't rise to the level of your expectation, you fall to your level of training. So if I trip you, Dave, and you've never been in a game where somebody trips you, and you feel like, like you've been wronged, you're going to get up and try to defend yourself. That's just natural of how we are created in the image of God. We want to fight or flight. And
Or
so if you're
freeze.
not
Yeah.
or freeze, like, you just have to be trained, in this space of contact, unfair, fair, whatever it is, move on because you're hurting your team. Um,
I think, and I'd be curious to see what you think about this. I think in kids' sports, you see a really big line between kids that were conditioned for this, whether it's at home or whatever, and not. Like, I think about the kids I played against at different parts of my development.
mhm.
And the ones that I just could not keep up with when I was really newer into the sport were the kids that were super aggressive. But then as you get confident and you get going, like you can become that aggressive kid. But unless you are aggressive, you get left behind, especially at those early ages.
Yeah.
Like I remember coaching my second and third son in their first ever soccer game, and my second son was a beast. And the whistle blows, he steals the ball, goes down and scores, comes right back like he's ready to go again. And the rest of the team that we were playing against was like, "What the heck just happened?" And he was just an aggressive kid,
Yeah.
And I think youth sports, especially aggressive kids, are rewarded at the end of the day because they're farther along in that maturation of understanding how to compete and dominate than anybody else. But then as they grow up and they get older and they're playing against tougher competition, that's where you start to see it even out a little bit more. And then it's not as much maybe about aggressiveness as it's about, to your point, mental toughness, preparation, thoughtfulness, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of kids come in with like their headphones on, listen to music and thinking that like that's mental preparation, and strutting in like I got a good play set on, like this
Yeah.
is how I'm preparing for the game. And I would say that's a very, very small part of it. Getting yourself out there on the field, on the ice, on the court, and looking at the field and visualizing yourself getting taken out, visualizing yourself missing the ball, making a bad pass, being
Yep.
frustrated, preparing yourself in that way. So when it happens, your mind doesn't know if you're physically doing it or visually doing it. And so you have those visual reps in there where like you're preparing for that. I kind of use like the GoPro helmet video, you're imagining yourself, or you can be like in a movie in a movie theater, watching yourself that way, almost
Yeah.
like a first person, third person, and you walk yourself down the field or the court or the ice and, put yourself in that environment and you bring in the five senses. Do I smell it? Do I see it? Do I hear it? Do I feel it? And that's preparation. You do that 30, 40 minutes before every game, sometimes an hour before the game, get there real early. You start, doing that for, 40, 50 games a season, you become more what we would say mentally tough. I've also been in locker rooms where coaches say, "Hey, I don't know what happened today, but we need to come back more mentally tough. Like you all need to get it together," without any instruction on what I just said of how to be mentally tough. So
Yeah.
when I see these kids doing this, they're just doing it because of what I said earlier. You don't rise to the level of your expectation, you fall to the level of your training. They're just not trained.
What age do you start that on?
Well, I don't know that in my experience, I think at U18 AAA, maybe U16 AAA, but they've got to be an upper level player. They got to realize that the skill is going to even off at some point and I need something extra. And so they got to be serious about that. This is mental toughness training is something. It's a skill that takes time, and you got to have somebody there to walk you through the scenarios, and you got to be in a psychologically safe place where you can communicate your frustrations, and your emotions, because it to me it's one of those things where like I can see if you're working out, Dave.
Yep.
Right? See your body, and I can see if you're overweight, or I can see if you're not. Like I can see, oh man, you've been working out. But mentally, you can't really see it, in terms of like, are you strong? Are you fit? Are you not? I only see it. That's why sports is a petri dish, because I
Yeah.
see it when everything gets tight and the pressure starts coming. And that's when it all sort of bubbles over and out. So a lot of times the low EI is not what's happening on the field, it's what's happening at home.
Yeah.
It could be friend, could be parents, could be schoolwork, could be not schoolwork. It's all that frustration leading up into a pressure situation. It just bubbles over. So your low EI kids are easy to see. They're easy to pick out.
Thanks again for joining us. I want to give special thanks to our sponsor, M is Good. Want to learn more about M is Good? Go to misgood.com. Join us again next week as we continue to uncover the secrets to success with faith-based testimonies and the power of R7. Remember, destiny awaits, but time does not.